But I just want you to kind of spit that take you were saying of why. What do you mean when you say Gnostic? What does Bloom mean when he says Gnostic?
Yeah.
Why is it American and not European? Or
Sure.
we'll just stick with European for now.
So like, first off, people should just, go out, watch some, Bloom on Gnosticism, Bloom on Whitman videos, because like he'll explain it a lot better than I will. But like,
Though sometimes he's talking, I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is he talking about? What?
Dude,
Like, he's name dropping this and that, and I was talking to Gershom Scholem, and
Oh
he
my
was saying
God.
this.
There were some funny ass.
dude, his brain, like, I wish they would have like preserved it and studied it, because man,
Wait,
like,
real quick. We're gonna be roving. We're gonna get to this Gnosticism,
Yeah.
riff, but listen what he says in the beginning. He goes, he's like, I recommend the art in Shakespeare, but I frequently have followed the Riverside or other editions. I've avoided the New Oxford Shakespeare, which perversely seeks, more often than not, to print the worst possible text, poetically speaking. This is his acknowledgments in the beginning.
but like
What? But he was bros with Hollander.
yeah,
that's
he's
what
like really good friends.
He mentioned that in the canon about talking about Whitman, that Hollander
Right.
put him onto
Is
something.
that the
with
Western
Whitman.
canon? No,
This
okay.
is Bloom Shakespeare. Hollander being the translator and annotator of the Dante books, the version of the Dante books that I've been writing a lot, reading and talking a lot about and writing, but not published yet. But Gnosticism meaning.
So, I guess to me the way to look at it is like, there's the religion. It's like a 1st to 4th century religion.
Okay,
It crops up roughly around the same time as Christianity. And in the religious sense, basically there's a unknowable, unseeable God that exists in like a deep space that we cannot perceive.
Yeah.
And he's full of they are full of light. And he's like basically at the start of creation, he's emanating all these different energies as far as I understand it. And the last one he emanates is his daughter Sophia.
Okay, right.
And
so
Sophia has got this like very feminine drive to understand the Father, and that's not allowed because you're not supposed to understand this, unseeable God. And so like in her attempt to understand her Father, she like wrenches open a new dimension, creates this god I think called Yeldabawa, which is kind of like Yahweh. Which is actually a false god. So basically, the early views are that the Jewish Yahweh is a false god, false and angry god, and vengeful god.
Yeah,
and that god tries to prevent us from seeing or from understanding.
so it is like explicitly heretical.
Yeah, I mean, like
in the classic like religious like.
I don't know if it might start before Christianity, like this kind of secret gnosis. So gnosis is knowledge. These secret ideas that are prevented from or blocked from us.
Yeah.
Like it's happening right at the same time.
Okay.
And so, this is all over like Egypt and Syria. All the people who are starting to believe in this stuff.
Right.
But it's not a formal religion. It's not like it's kind of always a thought process that takes what they find true in every religion, because all gods are false gods, blocking us from being in touch with the real God. So like this
in the Gnostic.
Yeah, and so like basically the idea is that we each have a divine spark, and that divine spark, people like archons are like acting against us to prevent us from getting in touch. So you guys, I think you guys were reading Blood Meridian.
Yeah.
Like that's just clear Gnostic tragedy. So the kid is the divine spark, and the judge is the archon preventing him. And that's actually like something I find really connected to Whitman is you have like you have the judge who's Gnostically writing down every single thing, understanding every single thing, so that he can control every single thing. Okay, and that's kind of what Whitman, especially Song of Myself, is doing. Like lists. He just lists everything. Yeah, and he's in a positive sense is trying to like understand everything. So then like that's the religious Gnosticism.
I see. Yeah.
But then there's also like the theoretical Gnosticism, just like the way in which you can exist in the world, which is to constantly be trying to understand, to believe that things are preventing you from having the real truth.
Right.
And for me, at least, I think it's so. Obviously, Bloom says America is Gnostic. I read The American Religion through him and kind of got onto this kick from that book.
Okay.
But I think you can kind of understand it pretty clearly now with all the stuff that's going on, you could take it from like a conspiratorial sense. So like Q is such a Gnostic conspiracy of like the truth is being blocked from us, and you have to search the depths of the internet to find it. But also just kind of our like frontier pioneer spirit, like we go to the edge of things. We're often alone. We're often kind of the only person we have with us is like our own personal Jesus, our own personal truth.
It's asking the questions, like trusting that there's some like greater knowledge out there that we can't see, that's outside of the domain of like the power structures, versus just listening to the king.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, that's
or listening to the Father. Yeah. Like that's the difference.
And so there's no revelation in Gnosticism.
You are redeemed through your own search for truth. So if you put in the work to evade the archons and like find the real truth, that is your way to be redeemed. And so for me, like the American sense is just like, and I think what I said about your guys' podcast.
You're saying podcasting is
well, podcasting generally. So like look at Joe Rogan. Like he's this guy who puts on so many people, and there's obviously this big draw of the left wing to make a left wing Joe Rogan, which I find impossible because like Joe Rogan is doing so well because he is Gnostic. He puts on tons of different people, a lot of whom do not adhere to the academy. And
he's okay with sounding stupid.
Yeah.
This is the thing, because last week was a fucking crazy week, right? So I'm getting fucking panned by this motherfucker and all kinds of shit. But I also like received an inundation of messages, and someone had a really good theory about why people can't stop writing hit pieces on my book. Is because, and she said it's because, and same on the pod, because like when someone's like genuinely asking questions just to ask them and not to spout as an expert, and they're genuinely confronting like the gnarly things about themselves, and then like that act is like a cathartic act, and you like witness somebody else doing that, then it reminds you how you're not doing that for yourself. So you need to pin it down. And you need to like provide some expert take, which often says, "I am the expert. Do not read this book because the experts say so." The New York Times agrees. Right?
Crazy.
This is very not Gnostic, dude. This is not Gnostic.
No, I really didn't like that piece.
I'll pull up, be like, "Yo, Harold, like, so what's Hamlet about?" I don't know. But I'm not even trying to be prideful about it. I just think that's kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, it's stunning how many question marks there are in Whitman. Like it's really like you never see that many question marks anywhere.
Well,
I was listening to it, so I don't remember.
I feel like if like every American writer right now could like go step back, read the Western canon, read Whitman, just like get that kind of original vibe back, that original like, oh, like I want to go explore everything is possible.
Right.
Because to me, what's crazy too is that like, and getting back to a little bit of the history of Whitman, it's like that's coming about after like Jacksonian American like theory. So like Jackson comes in, he's a wild boy. Andrew Jackson, he cheats in a duel and kills a guy, and he gets in like a lot of trouble. It's so fucked up. And like goes on.
What did he turn around quick?
He's like, I'm going back.
He's like,
no, but it's something like that where like the guy is like the other guy's honorable and like misses on purpose, and he just kills him.
Yeah.
So he like
Gnostic, dude. But he does not follow the god of the rules of proper dueling.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But so he's a wild boy. He becomes president. He's like, fucking with all the Native Americans. He's like this pretty bad energy. But he's also like, out of that comes Manifest Destiny. Out of that comes like kind of what is still the American personality, is like this like, let's go out with our ideas and kind of overtake the whole world.
Whatever, do whatever we want. Follow
and obviously there's like a lot of darkness there, but then from that like kind of exploratory expansionist energy comes this very left-wing progressive, beautiful text. And so
it's accepting
everything, man. Everything.
You have to go out and explore some shit to be able to see everything, to accept it all.
Well, this is what we were talking about last week in terms of like, don't you think someone who's been out here more knows stuff like that? That's gnosis.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's crazy how much like in that period, Melville, and then fucking.
Well, it's also the end of slavery.
Whitman,
That's the significance of it. Like, you should be reading Leaves of Grass with that knowledge.
But here's the thing we were talking about, him being a hypocrite. Like, he's not. The Civil War, he doesn't really care. Like, he cares about the Civil War as a unionist question, not as a slavery question.
He was helping people on the ground.
He's a kind of like a night nurse,
right? Which I feel like is like that. That's
he's
like
not joining the team. He's not joining any team.
He's
just
like
trying
the
to
South.
help people. He's like, I am the South and the North. He's like, I am the slaves and the whites. That's what he would say.
Yeah. No. I mean, he's like in the hospital, like helping all these guys, and he's like, this also like he's into it.
Lips.
Dude, exactly. He's
I mean, he said that they get a lot of bearded kisses. And
that's
he's
crazy.
Just jacking off. I mean, he don't even like that.
That's hilarious.
But all the lady nurses don't like him around because they're like,
this fucking pervert.
Because he's like, what are you doing with my boys? And he's like,
yo, that's
he's
hilarious.
Just being tender.
Yeah, he's a poet of the body and the soul.
Yeah. But
wait, but
he's some of the Bloom was quoting some of his poems about where he's Adam, and just like how embodied Adam is. It's crazy. It's always Adam coming up after the snooze. Right when Eve was trailing off.
Because he does like 2 sets after that are not part of the 1855. So I only reread the 1855 poems, but like I know that. So you got the Children of Adam, which is like his feminine poems, and then Calamus, which are his masculine poems.
He says something like that too. He's like, I am man and I am woman.
Yeah. But
he says something like that.
But that's maybe like getting back to the Gnostic thing, like because you guys were kind of touching on that a few episodes ago. Like, it's the Gnostic Trinity is the Mother, the Father, and the Son.
Wow.
And so it's a lot more tapped into the feminine.
That's my appendix is a Gnostic trilogy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's like it
includes the feminine.
And so like the Gospel of Mary Magdalene and all these kind of these texts that have been expunged for the feminine are part of.
Well, I mean, this is something I've been on a long project about ever since I read the Da Vinci Code, right? Which is that. Okay, I mean, this goes back to the Hamlet question too. One thing I was gonna say too is just that Whitman don't got no conception of Eve. It seems to me in any tangible sense.
Sure, yeah.
And
I think because he's Eve,
Like, he's Eve also,
but he don't really get it.
He's like, I'm Eve and Adam and the snake.
Well, it's like what did Joyce said about?
That's really what I really think. I kind of do think I do think I am. I do think I am everybody.
But so like Eve's got a wild part of like in Gnostic, the idea is that Sophia has a daughter herself who is Eve, and she's sent down to prove that the Jewish God is false. So the Jewish God has been telling Adam like, don't eat the apple.
Okay.
And so Sophia sends Eve and says, yo, try this apple.
Because eating the apple's a good thing.
Because
it's knowledge.
Oh, shit.
It's knowledge.
And so that's the proof that Yahweh is false. So like, that's the whole thing. So Eve is actually the real mother of everything.
Well, yes, and that's the Da Vinci Code, right? That the whole idea behind that is that there's been a secret society of fucking all these people forever, and the secret they're covering up is that Mary Magdalene was married to Jesus, right? And expunging that, in the Catholic tradition, right? You're not forgiving Eve, right? Expunging Mary because you're propping up the Virgin Mary. We talked about this a million times. But I think Ulysses is all about forgiving Eve.
Absolutely.
I think that's what the whole book is about.
Totally.
And I think what
Ulysses, forgiving Penelope.
Yeah, forgiving Penelope.
Yeah.
And, just female
the
licentiousness
mother.
in general. Just agency, and
that's
accepting
that's what Sound of the Fury is about, too.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, it's coming out of Ulysses. But
wow, true.
And I think...
Not just formally, thematically.
Yeah, exactly. Stephen's whole disquisition in the library is talking about, I think he pins down 2 things that the basis of Western ethics are the Catholic Church to a certain point and excising Eve from the narrative, not forgiving Eve, and then Shakespeare's nihilistic, dark view of humanity.
Totally.
So it's just this very unkind, exclusionary moral attitude.
Right.
Which I think Stephen and Joyce are railing against in all of Ulysses.
Yeah, man.
I think Joyce thinks that Basin, because Shakespeare's the invention of the human.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Bloom would say that he is our God. He is God and he is our God.
Exactly, and that's maybe we got the wrong God.
Yeah.
Maybe we need a fucking another the fucking Gnostic. Maybe this is the bad God. Is Shakespeare.
Yeah, man.
And I think that's
wow,
what Stephen
dude, that is a hot take.
I think that's what Stephen would think.
Yeah.
I think that's what Stephen thinks.
Well, it's cool. I mean,
Joyce
that's what's so cool about that part. That that's why I guess I'm been so obsessed with that section for so long. Is that like it really is.
What chapter is that in?
That's 9. That's still in
9?
Charybdis.
Okay.
And it's
Gotta run it back.
That
it's 3 months reading that undergrad.
Oh, it's so good, dude. I mean, I liked what you said about it, which is that like the first time is you're never gonna.
Yeah, I didn't even really like it. I was impressed, but I didn't like it.
No, the second time is crazy.
Yeah.
But also the father thing, right? There's the thing there about him being the wrong God. He's the wrong father.
Yeah.
There's no guiding father.
Yeah.
And I think that, Joyce or Bloom is the right father.
Yeah.
In this kindly, like distant way. It's giving you the proper guidance, but letting you come up for yourself. Bloom.
Joyce is the right God.
Joyce is the right God in the form of Bloom. Joyce with his hand in the book, right?
Yeah.
The whole book is Joyce is exercising his, I am the right God. I'm this kindly, humorous God that looks at things. I'll point out you're ogling all the bitches, and you got your coming and you're pissing and you're pooping.
Yeah.
But you're also got this, he's almost like what Whitman wants to be.
Definitely.
In that book.
Definitely.
He's showing himself vulnerable. Or he's showing himself ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
In the body.
Yeah, embodied and ugly, but expansive, like Whitman says.
He's
he
all encompassing. He loves everyone. He's capable of like kind of just that he walks through a town like Whitman does basically the whole of the 1855.
He's just walking around.
Just walking around, noting everything
New York,
down.
Right? Manhattan, right?
Whitman?
Yeah.
Yeah. He lives in Brooklyn, and he's always over here like doing journalism and stuff like that.
So what's the Gnostic to non-Gnostic? Because so it's like if you to just complete the arc of what you were saying and explaining all the Sophia stuff. Really, it's like one distinction, which I've said on the pod before, is that when you look at the Christ story, it's the Gnostic way to look at it is it's a mysterious story that contains some truth and knowledge to understand about it, or it's you have sinned, you must repent because of this crucifixion. You have sinned, you must follow the God and repent. Yeah, and that's and so this is a constant battle of like that's the king is like it's England is like you must follow the monarchy. Yeah, the people in start America. No, we're going over here. Yeah. We're gonna start a whole new thing. We don't really know what it is. We're gonna ask the questions. We're gonna fucking figure out a new type of humanism. Right, and that's why Bloom's saying America is Gnostic. Yeah. My face is fucking red from this damn beer, but what is the what is the Gnostic to non-Gnostic battle right now? Because you're saying all this stuff about how the rise in podcasting and all these people taking it upon themselves to ask the questions about like what the truth is like this Gnostic thing. Obviously, the Q might be some extreme version of it, but like what it like, and then like. I think I'm very Whitmanian in my orientation towards the world. I fuck with everybody. Yeah. I ask questions. I share about my weird visceral bodily things in my writing. You know what I'm saying? But the main thing is I'm not like. You could. I will stand no matter who they lump me in with in my writing. I will stand by the fact that I'm not. Like Whitman, I'm both. Like I'm not easily political alignable. I'm against moralizing and thinking that you know the answer and forcing it on everyone, which is a fascistic impulse. It has nothing to do with liberalism in my view. Like, and that's what that girl was saying too when she wrote me that long letter in response to the thing. She was like, "It's because people need a good bad orientation. Isn't it this like rigid moralizing that's like now represents the fucking church? Yeah, in the negative."
Well, I think that's. I mean, I think like if you're trying, as you said, like what's the here and now Gnostic versus non-Gnostic? Yeah. I don't know what the Gnostic is now.
Well, you said it was Rogan.
No, but well, I mean, sorry, I don't know. Besides being open to everything, is the Gnostic? Yeah, the
non-Gnostic can't be the mean God leading you astray with noise and hoopla.
I think. I mean, yes. I guess everything could. I guess, but that's the idea. Is like the only way it's not is if it prompts you to continue your exploration. Mm-hmm. Anything that tells you to be something is clearly the wrong way.
Okay,
that's not Gnostic. Idea. Yeah, that's not Gnostic. If you're listening to a mean God, the Gnostic is God is a source of light, and we have part of it inside of us.
It's exactly. It's our individual divine spark.
Individualism.
Yeah. And so like I think that's that's kind of when I brought up the idea of like the kind of post podcast, like everyone, how do we make the left wing podcast? It's like, well, the left wing of the last few years has been very like, here are the rules, follow them. And like
very Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah, and what's tough is that like you can agree with those rules, but like naturally the American mind is going to say like, stop fucking telling me what to do. We're such like a libertarian people.
Right.
And so like even people who were previously very left wing, I think probably got a bit fatigued with people saying this is how it has to be.
Yeah.
And so then you can't make a left-wing podcast.
Do not read this book.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you do, do not read it.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, here
don't eat the damn fucking apple.
Yeah, this is the fucking tree. This is the apple of knowledge of good and evil.
But that's, I mean, that is crazy. And then, I guess in the good sense is like, everyone you want reading the book, that's the best advertisement. Like if somebody says to them, "Don't read this,"
True.
It's like,
to Americans.
What the fuck are you blocking me from?
Let's get it going.
Yeah,
because I got to sell another book.
I mean, but yeah,
I'm just playing.
No, but I think like that is. I mean that piece is so sinful, man. It's a takedown like that. That's like a scene report couched in literary criticism when it's not even.
You just hate literature and you hate art and you hate truth. But,
yeah.